For 7 years, I didn't exist. Not to my mother, not to my father, not to my 2 older brothers or my younger sister. I erased myself from their lives like a deleted file. No birthday calls, no holiday dinners, no awkward funerals, no passive-aggressive Facebook tags, no just checking in texts, nothing. And for 7 years, that silence was the only peace I had ever known. My name is Morgan Hayes. I'm 34 years old. I live in a modest 2-bedroom apartment in Portland, Oregon, with a rescue pit bull named Echo and a collection of houseplants that I talk to more than I ever spoke to my own blood relatives. I have a steady job as a medical billing specialist. I pay my bills on time. I take my antidepressants religiously. I go to therapy every other Tuesday. By all outward measures, I am a functional, healed adult. But healing, as you probably know, is not a straight line. It's a minefield. And on October 17th at 11:47 p.m., I walked right into the middle of mine. That was the night my phone exploded. The first voicemail. I was brushing my teeth. Echo was snoring on the couch. The apartment was quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator. Then my phone buzzed once, then twice. Then it didn't stop. I dried my hands and picked up my iPhone. The screen showed 1 new voicemail, then 3, then 7, then 12. The numbers climbed faster than I could process. By the time I sat down on the edge of my bed, the counter read 43. 43 voicemails from a number I had deleted but never forgotten, my mother's cell. My first instinct, the one I had trained for 7 years, was to delete them all without listening. That was the rule. No contact means no contact. Not even listening, not even hate listening, not even curiosity listening, because curiosity is the first step back into the swamp. But then I saw the timestamps. The first voicemail came in at 11:13 p.m., the last at 11:46 p.m. 33 minutes, 43 messages. That wasn't a conversation. That was a siege. I pressed play on voicemail number 1, and my world tilted. The unraveling. Morgan, it's Mom. I know you won't pick up. I know you probably blocked me, but your father is dead. 4 words. 4 little words that should have meant something, should have made me cry, should have made me feel something other than nothing. But that's the thing about cutting off toxic people for 7 years. You don't just cut them off, you cut off your own ability to feel their gravity. I waited for the sob. It didn't come. He died 3 hours ago. Heart attack. In the garage. He was alone. We were all at the grocery store. We came back and he was just gone. Morgan, you need to come home. End of voicemail 1. I stared at the ceiling. My father, the man who told me at 16 that I was too sensitive to survive in the real world. The man who called my eating disorder a cry for attention. The man who laughed when I said I was depressed and told me to pray it away. He was dead. And I felt relief. That's when I knew I was in trouble. Not because relief is wrong, but because I knew my family would never forgive me for feeling it. I pressed play on voicemail 2. The escalation. Voicemail 2 was my older brother, Kyle. Kyle is 38, married with 3 kids, and has spent his entire life pretending our family is normal. He's the fixer, the one who says, "That's just how Mom is," and "Dad didn't mean it that way." He's also the one who once told me, after I attempted suicide at 19, that I was embarrassing the family name. "Morgan, it's Kyle. Mom's a wreck. You need to call her. I don't care about your little grudge. Dad is dead. Get over yourself and call Mom." Little grudge. 7 years of no contact, a lifetime of emotional abuse, and he called it a little grudge. I almost laughed. Almost. Voicemail 3 came from my other brother, Derek. Derek is 36, a former Marine, built like a refrigerator and has the emotional intelligence of a hammer. He doesn't argue, he commands. Morgan, Dad's gone. You're coming to the funeral. That's not a request. I don't care if I have to drive to Portland and carry you to the car myself. You're coming. Threats already, before I even said a word. Voicemail 4 was my younger sister, Chloe. Chloe is 28, the baby of the family, and the only one I ever felt sorry for. She was always the peacemaker, the one who would sneak into my room after a fight and whisper, "It's okay, Morg, I still love you." But somewhere around her 21st birthday, she stopped being my ally and started being my mother's soldier. "Morgan, I know you're scared. I know we're all monsters, but Dad is dead. Please, just come say goodbye. For me. Please." For a moment, just a moment, I felt something crack inside my chest. Chloe's voice was small, tired, broken in a way that had nothing to do with our father's death, and everything to do with the years she spent holding our family together while I ran away. But then I remembered, Chloe was the one who told Mom where I was living after I explicitly said not to. Chloe was the one who sent me a wedding invitation to a wedding I knew I wouldn't attend, just so she could tell the family, "At least I tried." Chloe was the one who called me on my 30th birthday and said, "Mom's crying because you won't talk to her. Can't you just call her once, for my sake?" No, I could not. I pressed play on voicemail 5, and things got weird. The shift. Voicemail 5 was Mom again, but this time her voice was different, less hysterical, more calculating. "Morgan, I know you're listening to these. I know you. You always were a curious little thing. You want to know what happened? You want to know how he died? He was fixing your old bicycle, the one you left in the garage when you moved out. He was fixing it for you, in case you ever came back. And his heart just stopped. So congratulations, Morgan. You killed your father." The room went cold. Not metaphorically, actually cold. The kind of cold that makes your skin prickle and your breath catch. I looked at Echo. Echo looked at me. Even the dog knew something was wrong. I didn't kill my father. I wasn't even in the same state. But that's not how guilt works in a toxic family. In a toxic family, guilt is a currency. And my mother was about to make me the richest woman in the world. Voicemails 6 through 15 were a blur of the same thing. Crying, yelling, accusations, pleas. Mom sobbing, Kyle demanding, Derek threatening, Chloe bargaining. It was like a symphony of dysfunction conducted by a dead man in a garage. But voicemail 16 changed everything. The confession. Voicemail 16 was from an unknown number. I almost skipped it, but something about the way the preview text looked, a long string of words that cut off mid-sentence, made me press play. It was a man's voice, older, shaky. Not my father, not my brother's, someone else. "Miss Hayes, my name is Gary Tolliver. I'm the coroner. I'm sorry to be calling you like this. I got your number from your mother's phone. I shouldn't be doing this, but I was at the scene and I saw something that didn't sit right with me. Your father didn't have a heart attack. Not exactly. He had a reaction to something he ingested. We're running toxicology now, but I wanted you to know. The paramedics found a bottle of prescription pills in his pocket. They were yours, old antidepressants, from 7 years ago. The prescription was filled in your name. I don't know what that means, but I thought you should know before anyone starts talking." The phone slipped out of my hand and hit the floor. My old antidepressants from 7 years ago. The ones I stopped taking when I moved out because I couldn't afford them without my parents' insurance. The ones my mother said she would dispose of properly. She didn't dispose of them. She kept them for 7 years. And somehow, my father ended up with them in his pocket when he died. I don't know if my mother killed my father. I don't know if he took those pills on purpose or by accident. I don't know if it was suicide or murder or a tragic mistake. But I know this. My mother called me within 3 hours of his death. Not to tell me he was gone. To tell me it was my fault. Before I even knew he had died, she had already decided how to use it. The remaining 27 voicemails. I won't list all 43 voicemails here. You don't have that kind of time, and I don't have that kind of sanity. But I will tell you what the remaining 27 contained. My mother threatening to call the police and tell them I had been harassing her for years. A lie. My brother Pyle demanding I sign over my inheritance to him because you don't deserve it after what you did to Dad. My brother Derek leaving a voicemail so full of graphic violence that I actually saved it as evidence for a restraining order. My sister Chloe sobbing that she was tired of being in the middle and that she wished I had died instead of Dad. 3 voicemails from unknown numbers, neighbors and family friends, telling me I was a disgrace and should be ashamed. 1 voicemail from my father's own phone, left by my mother, pretending to be him, saying, "I forgive you, Morgan, even if you don't deserve it." That last one broke something in me. Not my heart. My heart had been replaced by concrete years ago. No, it broke my hope. Because if my mother was willing to fake a voicemail from a dead man, her dead husband, within hours of his death, then there was no bottom to her depravity, no line she wouldn't cross, no lie she wouldn't tell. The aftermath. It's been 3 weeks since that night. I haven't responded to a single voicemail. I haven't gone to the funeral. I haven't called the coroner back. I haven't done anything except sit in my apartment with Echo and stare at the wall and wonder if I'm the crazy one. My therapist says I'm not crazy. She says my family is textbook toxic and that my 7 years of no contact were an act of radical self-preservation. She says the voicemails are evidence, not obligation. She says I don't owe them anything, not even grief. But here's the thing about cutting off toxic people. You never really cut them off. You just build a wall. And walls are great at keeping people out, but they're also great at keeping you in, alone, with nothing but your own thoughts and 43 voicemails that play on a loop in your head at 2 a.m. I haven't listened to the voicemails again. I don't need to. I remember every word, every threat, every tear, every lie. They live in my bones now, right next to the childhood memories I've been trying to forget for 34 years. What I learned. If you're reading this and you've cut off your own toxic family, let me tell you something you need to hear. You did the right thing. Even if they die, even if they leave 43 voicemails, even if they blame you for everything, you did the right thing. Because the alternative, staying in contact, staying enmeshed, staying small and quiet and compliant, isn't living, it's surviving. And you deserve more than survival. You deserve peace. My father is dead, and I don't know if my mother killed him or if he killed himself or if it was just a terrible accident. But I do know one thing. I am not going back. Not for the funeral, not for the inheritance, not for Chloe's tears or Derek's threats or Kyle's guilt trips, not even for the coroner's final report. I am staying in Portland. I'm staying in my little apartment with my rescue dog and my houseplants and my steady job. I am staying in therapy. I am staying on my antidepressants. I am staying alive. And if my family wants to leave 43 more voicemails tomorrow night, they can. My phone has a block button, and my heart has a door, and both of them are staying closed. Final note. The coroner never called back. I don't know if the toxicology report came in. I don't know if my mother's death was ruled an accident or a suicide or something else entirely. And you know what? I don't want to know. Some doors are meant to stay closed, some voicemails are meant to stay unheard, and some families are meant to stay in the past. Mine is one of them.